Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. In the previous video, we discussed about the JDBC API on the steps and what we are going to do and how we write the step and what each step is doing for us. And we also have seen this, how the data is retrieved from the database. Now, in this video, we'll see how we can establish a connection and perform a CRUD operations on this particular schema. Now, we already seen this, how to load a driver, how to register driver and create a connection and create a statement and result set. Now, this same execute query we will change to right to fetch the actual data from particular database table. Now I am going to use the same connection. Okay, I have already created the development. This is the development name of the database and root is the username and is the password. Now we already have a connection object created successfully. Okay, there is nothing to worry. Now the same thing, this query. Now our requirement is to select all the records from the employee table. There is a table. I have already created two different tables, right? Employee tables. Under the tables, we have all the tables, right, listed here. Now the table name is employee and the login. Suppose by mistake, if you give the table name is employees, what I do, then if you run this exception, there is no such table exceptions will come. That see now the table m development.employee does not exist. Before it move forward only, then it throw the exception here. What type of exception? It is that one. As we discussed in the previous session, right? Step by step exceptions will be thrown. Now I made that development one. There is no database with the development one. Now you could see what exception, unknown database, right? Syntax SQL exception. I don't know what database it is, unknown. I don't find that. I'm not able to find that right database, the development now. Okay. Now I change the root to something XYZ. Now run this and see the type of exception. You could see this one. Access denied for user root XYZ at local host using password. Yes. And there is no such guy. Root is the root user and there is no access to this guy. Now I change the password to password 11 and see now we will get different types of execution, right? Say access denied. Again, see access denied. So if both will be comparing that there is a road with the guy with the username password is this like that step by step it validate everything here. It goes to the next step only. Then once these two are successful, then it goes for the execute query. Then the execute query, then also it validate the table is already there or not. If the table is there, then only it execute the query successfully and retrieve the result and the result set object. Otherwise, it throw the exception saying unknown database table. Now we have a table name, correct. Now what we are going to do, I am going to retrieve all the columns or you can retrieve specific columns also. Now in first case, we will say we will get all the columns. Even though you get all the columns, select star means you it blindly fetch all the columns and all the rows. So how many rows are there? Then it will say select star from, there is no where condition means then it will get all the rows. Select star means it will be all the columns. This star indicates that all the columns. Okay. Now even though I'm getting all the columns, then I will take the first two. So what is that first two? It's a instead of date, now first value is integer. Now take integer is the column index is 1. Now we take one more. I will change this to string because the second column is a string data type. So I will give it as 2 here. This is a string, right? First name. Now I'm going to print these two only. Now we will see what data is coming here. See now ID, name, ID, name, ID, and name those persons. You see this ID, name for all these persons. If you want to get only those two columns here, you have to give the exact name of that. You see that one also? Employee ID, comma, this first name. This also should match to the database table columns, otherwise you will not get data. Now if I give something, right, first underscore, I remove the first underscore, then this query will not execute, that it gets failed. There's unknown column first name in the field list. There is no column, unknown column, so there is no column exists with the given name, with the given name in the field list. So this type of exceptions will get that. Most of them the developers are doing common mistakes. Sometimes they give that instead of first underscore name, or then they may give an underscore, but they tried without underscore. Sometimes they won't give underscore, but they may be trying with underscore, like common mistakes. So then they can easily go back and cross check that what is exactly the column name, then they will correct this. So this is how simply you can fetch the data from the database. Now we will see that how to insert the data into the database. Okay, using this connection object, you have to write a different thing. What is that? You have to use prepared statement. Prepared statement, you can simply give say PS equals to, okay, I want this from the connection, and everything will be connection only, and this connection dot prepared statements. Okay, then here you have to pass the SQL. Now we will write the SQL outside, right? String. SQL is always in the string format. Okay, it is integer. Now insert into which table we are going to insert? Employee table. What columns of data are going to insert? Employee ID and first underscore name, comma, last underscore name, and another column, sir, is mobile email, is, comma, mobile email. Next, department, location, status. Now, in this table, insert into employee. In all these columns, I'm going to insert values. Then you have to map the values correctly according to the column that we have given. No, this is an integer. Second, first name is string. Then you have to put in the double quotes. Sorry. Um, Then we are using prepare statement, right? You have to put that many placeholders, question mark. How many are there? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have to place 9 question marks here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you all these are comma separated. Okay. Now in these placeholders, we have to supply the values. Now this SQL, we pass this as string here. Okay, you are done with SQL. Now we have to supply this prepared statement that set what is the first value. It is a integer, so you have to give my first value. First placeholder is 1, and what you are going to pass that, you have to give that 6787 okay, copy paste everything and go ahead. Set second value is string. You have to give the placeholder. Second value I'm going to insert as Swati. Sorry, instead of a string, should be string, and then say string. And this is the third value. What is the third value? Is surname. And fourth value is this. The first name, last name is that age. Set age. Is this the integer? And you can say placeholder. And age is something. And what is the next is after that? Mobile. We have taken mobile as a string. That is this fifth parameter. Like set the values according to the data type, and email ID is fifth parameter, this is sixth parameter, and email ID is location. Last value is string status. Okay, now you are done this. You have set the values into the placeholder. What is the next step? You have to give the instruction to execute this step. What is that step? I told, right? You have to give that execute update. Means you are going to insert this record. So execute update means how many records insert. Then it return that value as rows inserted. Say rows inserted. We can say prepared statement dot execute update. This means we are going to update the database, right? Which means if the insert a record, update a record, delete a record, everything is a update of the data. Then you could see this, how many records are inserted, that many count, that count will be displayed here. If it is one record. Now execute this and see. Now look, before that, look at this. I have only 1 2 3 4 records. There is no ID with 6 7 8 7. Now execute this and see what happens. See, you could see there is a 1, means this is rows 1 is gets inserted. You execute this one and see 6 7 8 7, so it is inserted this record successfully. So this is how you can, from the user interface, from the other system or wherever, that you just send these values as a placeholder, and see this is statement, prepare statement will compile once, and with the help of placeholder, right, you can pass apply a number of values a number of times. This will give you performance, also good performance. Okay, now you see this, after in here this guy inserted, right, one more record is inserted. You see here it is not displaying. Okay, now no need to execute this time again. Once again, if you execute this again, one more record will be inserted. I just comment this one. Okay, and I expect to get the data only, updated data. See, this record is there, Swati. Now let it be commented. Every time if we run this program, again same record will keep inserted. Now using this, we can also update the data as a part of data, right? Now this record is been inserted. Now what we do, then we write a string update. What you are going to update? I am going to update the same table. Which table? Update employee table. What you are going to update? Set mobile, something, for example, and my mobile number is some wrong, incorrect mobile number. Okay, this is my latest mobile number. So set mobile number equals to this one. So according to the prepare statement, we no need to have this one. What you have to do? Then you have to put the question mark as a placeholder, where you have to give the condition to which employee you are going to update. Say employee ID equals to as the question mark. That is one of the placeholder again. Now again, say prepared statement. Update connection dot prepared statement. Say you pass this update query here. Then PS, sorry, update dot set. What is the first value? So first value is the mobile. So which is a string data type, and first value I'm sending this. Okay, or else, okay, can I identify this 709? This is 909 here, Sorry, this both are 909 only. Okay, last is 900. What is update? Okay, there is somewhere I have created update. Okay, update. You can say update SQL. Okay, sorry, this is update. Okay, update SQL. Now I send this. Dot set integer. Second placeholder is the employee ID. Based on employee ID, I am updating that. What is the employee ID? 6787. If you give employee ID something different, then it go and update to that particular record. Now again same thing. You are going to execute update, means you are going to update the data. Now you see this time again updated. It goes to what, how many records got updated. Now you could see in the backend, you see the record is 909. Once you run this one, the record gets updated with the given information. Okay, some duplicate entity 6787 for employee primary. Sorry, we already have this one. Using this prepared statement object, I'm trying to execute. That is the reason it is saying I have to use this update SQL dot this one. This is a mistake. Okay, run as. Okay, now one record got updated. Now execute this one. See 900 is got changed. Okay, this is how you can perform a number of queries with the same connection. See, every time I have not created connection, the connection is created once, but I'm going to use this for all the operations that. So you don't need to create any connection again and again. Now write a query, say delete SQL. So what you're going to say, delete is the syntax. From which table? Delete from employee, where employee underscore ID equals to, I give the question mark is a placeholder. Then what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete the record from that. Again, use the same prepared statement as, okay, prepared statement. See, this is delete, okay, delete SQL. Sorry, delete dot set. This time I'm setting only one values. To which record I'm going to delete? I'm going to delete 6787. So you just pass the employee ID and you have to give the instruction this execute update that. Now this time you comment this, you no need to update the record again. Even though if it is there is no harm. It just simply silently override the value. Otherwise we can keep it in this is out only. Okay, we are done. Now this time we are going to delete the record with the specific case 6787. Now the record is there 6787. You see, you have 6787. Once you run this one, see one record is updated. If you run this, that record is gone. Again you have 4 records. Now you see 5 records are here, right? Now if you execute this again and see what happens. See 0. It is trying to delete. Okay, delete syntax is correct, but there is no such record exists in the database. This time you would get the return output as 0. Then this only available records are retrieved. So this is how you can perform all the CRUD operations. You can create a table, also you can insert, you can update the record, okay, you can delete the record, right? So these are all the basic CRUD operations that we can use perform on the same connection object. Every time you don't need to create the connection object again and again. That said, once the connection is there, you have to keep it as a similar static, means which is a singleton design pattern. If you know the singleton design pattern, then you will have a good clear idea on this. Singleton design pattern helps you to create a connection only once. Okay, if you know that in how to write SQL queries, and if you are good in writing SQL queries, you can play around with all the queries, right? Selecting the max record ID, selecting max salary, and like so on, so on, so on. And also told to write insert as a batch. Then using statement object, you can have insert as a batch record. So I just show you syntax how it looks. Now using statement here, what we use this statement, using this statement object, you see that add batch. See, what is this add batch? Inside that you have to provide a SQL query, simple SQL query, insert into some values. For example, now we have this, right? Insert into employee values, so on, so on. Directly you can say insert into EMP values instead of giving this placeholder, right? But every time this, then these many statements are executed. So using these statements, you can insert multiple records at a time. For example, now here one record in this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Now, if someone is sending us a list of records to you, then instead of, right, inserting one by one, just for this as values here and executed as a batch. Then there is a command execute batch for this statement object. How is that? If you look at this statement object, statement dot, we see the instead of execute update, we have a execute batch. See what it's saying? Submits a batch of commands to the database for execution. If all the commands executed successfully, return array of update counts. Have we told, right, how many records it get inserted, then that count will be returned to us. If it insert 5 records, then batch count is 5 records. Make sure once you execute this batch, make sure you say commit this transaction. Okay, one thing always, right, I told, right, once we are done with this, and if you don't want this connection anymore, then you can simply close this connection using finally block, right? As we know that during exception handling, we have discussed about finally block. Now this is not available because this is inside the try scope. Just say connection equals to null. Remove it from here. Then this object is available. Just say close. Once you close the connection, and right, this connection will not be anymore available for us, right, to create further connection. To open a connection, again you have to perform these 2 steps. The closing of a connection in sense, then the connection is permanently physically released to that database, but not deleting the database. Means your connection to that particular database will be closed for right now. Again, if you want to open, again you have to again follow the same steps as these 2 steps. One thing you are here sure, right, you always have to remind that what is your requirement. You are inserting the record by record from the UI, and right, and if you want to improve performances and also security issue, then you go with the prepared statement that will compile once, it will give good performance, not execution is fast. And this batch execute is not used anymore as with the latest technologies using Spring framework, Spring MVC or Spring Boot. We already have a Spring batch separate model, so that will help you to go with the actual batch job execution. This is actual implementation that is derived. Means those frameworks are derived this implementation. If you know this basic syntax, then you can easily understand the Spring MVC or Spring Boot or Hibernate, whatever. Wherever you go, you have to write this type of SQL statements only. But this stuff you no need to write that. If you go to the Spring JDBC template or Spring Data JPA, you cannot see all these types of creating a connection, get connections, create statement, execute statement. Nothing will be displayed. Nothing. So all this boilerplate call will be completely removed. The only thing you have to pass this value driver and to the URL, username, password. That's it. Just 4 fields. Then it create a connection internally. The framework return all this type of code. It will automatically open a connection for you. Once you are done with the current transaction, means either insert a record, update, delete, whatever the current transaction, then it immediately commit that and close that and release that. Time limits on fly, the connection will be created. And exceptions, any exceptions also, you don't need to write try catch and closing exception. All this programmatically, you don't need to write this much of code. Framework code will all automatically help you to open a connection, to create a connection, to close if any exception, right? It clearly catch that exception and print that complete trace to understand in detail. Later you can customize that. I mean, you just shorten that message and display the meaningful message to the end user. But however, before going there, everyone has to understand this basic. If you go there, Spring JDBC template is there. What JDBC template, what it do? They know that. But before JDBC template, there is this kind of code is there. All this code is a part of framework. So practice well and perform more and more CRUD operations, right? And like most of the queries here, join two tables. At first, work with a simple one table, get all the columns and try to update, delete, and get the maximum records from that list of sort by, order by, sort by, group by, like number of queries are there, right? No matter what query, the only query syntax will be remain here, right? If we are expecting select star from, then say there is select star from some particular table, order by, or you can say group by having, and order by so on that, right? You can play around with the queries available. Okay, now this all about to understand the JDBC CRUD operations. In the next session, we will see with another concepts. Okay, we'll stop it here right now. Okay, see you in the next session.